everyone, and welcome again to this brand new episode of Christine Means Business. I'm so excited to have you here with me this week. And as always, I am joined by a wonderful guest because brain power is great. Double the brain power is all the better. And I love having these discussions for you guys so that I can learn and share and tickle my guests for their best pieces and their secrets so that you can all benefit from it as well. So today, we have someone very special who I think can share a lot of wisdom with you on how you can make your journey as a small business owner, creative entrepreneur, or coach, or even a seasoned entrepreneur specifically. I mean, there's always different challenges at every different level, how we can make that journey better, more powerful, having more impact. So with me today is Sue Lundquist. I'm going to say, I'm not entirely sure if in English you would pronounce it that way, Lundquist maybe, but you will know more if you Google for Clarity with Sue. That's her handle. That's where you'll find her all over the place. Now, Sue shows up as a loving, multifaceted dynamo. I mean, what an extraordinary description. I love it. Personal development and mind, body, spirit advocate and lifelong learner. She is a successful business owner, providing new life-changing teachings and leadership. She's also an award-winning author. She's been featured in Huffington Post, CBS Radio, and she's a certified heart math mentor, something that I'm a huge fan of when I worked with Sleep Like a Boss. So we'll definitely talk about that. She's also the creator of the successful Craziness to Clarity method. We will talk about that as well. And a highly rated and long-standing international radio show and host. So, Sue, welcome to Christine Means Business.
Christine and Christine Meets Business and all of the tribe and the people. I feel like I need a drum roll after that introduction. That was beautiful. I'm like, oh, pump me up a little bit. Thank you. It's my attaboys or attagirls.
People, exactly.
I love it. I love it.
Wonderful. Wow. I picked up on the word multifaceted dynamo. So the question would be, have you always seen yourself as a multifaceted dynamo, or what was the journey that got you there?
Thank you. So multifaceted, that has been, and for us entrepreneurs, that has been a life journey for me. And I say that with so much love and compassion because we have so much things going on, multifaceted, meaning we've got so many passions. And you know what? It's okay. It is absolutely okay. You have big fat permission to have 3 or 4 or 5 passions going on. And I say that, I mean, obviously with the caveat, focus on it when you're there, right? Yes. Because I have so many passions, and that is the gift that an entrepreneur brings to our culture, our table, right? And having the stigma or the someone, which I've had many, oh, you're into so many things, and why are you not focusing on one thing? And it shamed me. I'm like, whoa. We're going to change that mindset. We're going to change that culture, not only within myself, but my business. And that's going to be part of the conversation that we're going to have today. And it's really important to get really clear on what your personal code of conduct, your culture for not only you as the entrepreneur, you're the leader. You could be a leader and you're 11 years old on the playground, and your family, your parents have instituted a culture within your family that will parlay into the playground. Here we're talking about entrepreneurs, so I'll use that as an example. Getting really clear on that culture and how you're going to show up, not only for yourself, that means how you're going to respond, not react, respond compassionately, respectfully. So that means you've got to get really clear. You got to step back and go, okay, how do I want to lead as an entrepreneur? What is my culture? What do I say about my company? Right? It's so important. That's the clarity part. But it's clarity across the whole board because Christine, you and I both know, and I'm sure your peeps do too. It's all an inside job, right? And if you want your world to change, if you want your life to change, you have to change. My loves, you have to change. So that means a big awareness, and then that massive clarity and education around the clarity. And then you got the new education, then the transformation starts happening. And then you integrate what that looks like in your life and aligning with that.
Wonderful.
I kind of just kept going, didn't I, Christine?
Yeah, there's so much that we can unpack here, because you're absolutely right. And I think someone who's been on the journey for a while is going to be here nodding. Yes, preach. That's exactly it. Now let's step back a second for someone who might be like, what? Which would have been me 7 or 6 years ago when I started my journey. I was not aware. Just as you said, once you have the awareness, you can get the clarity. And this is why I love this podcast so much, because what I really want to do is to collapse time for people, to really help them. And I stress this over and over. This might not feel like the juiciest episode because it's not just strategy, but I promise you, if you listen to this, it will collapse your time so much more. And let's talk about that awareness for a second. So you've obviously been in business for a while. You've interviewed a gazillion people. What specifically, if you talk about business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, what are some of the things that you notice when you come in that they have no clue? I mean, I love the sentence, you don't know what they don't know, what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You just don't know. So what do you often see as a common thread? Obviously, everyone is different, but there are some patterns that occur over and over again where you just thrive when you can step in.
Okay, so love that question. Thank you, Christine. I'm going to also address the contrast, because that contrast means you have to step into your truth. You have to be aware of what you're doing or not doing, or you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You can release you have permission to ask questions to get help. And I know that putting the ego aside, especially when you're stepping into a new rink of entrepreneurship, because you don't know what you don't know. And that means you're not aware of what you don't know. So really coming at the new experience, the new transformation within entrepreneurship, really looking at it curiously, and not from an ego standpoint. Yes, it's really important. Like I alluded to a minute ago about really getting clear on your culture and who you are and how you're showing up. That has got to be fundamental. It's got to be your foundation piece, because then it's your navigation. It's like your roadmap. The question was, well, if I'm not aware, then what? Well, you're an entrepreneur. You as Sue, you as Christine, how are you showing up? How are you going to communicate? How are you going to make choices? And what are those choices based on? That the choices are based on your personal code of conduct, your culture, right? If that's all you have moving into entrepreneurship, that is going to set the stage for the success, because you've gotten clear, right? And then you make choices based on that, meaning boundaries, no's, yeses. Can I get more information? Because you know your PCC, you know your culture. PCC is your personal code of conduct. A Sueism, another, yeah. Was that helpful?
It is. And I want to quickly dive in even a little bit further, because it's a topic that I love talking about, because we assume that we know who we are. Like, I assume I know what my values are. I assume I know how I show up. And it makes me laugh. If you go to my Instagram and it's been a while, so scroll down a little bit, you will see a photo where I sit in a suit with a Cleopatra haircut. And there's one even further down where you see me in this business frock, very businesswoman-like. And that was when I started out, when I thought I want to attract that kind of client, so I'm going to present myself this way. This is how I'm showing up. Today, what would I do differently? Today, I honestly would not give a crap about what I think other people would want to see. But that little step, like how you show up, it is huge. It is absolutely massive. So if you're listening right now, and if you go to your own Instagram, have a good look and actually see, is this what you're seeing? Is this actually you? Or is this what you assume your role as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as whatever you do, shop owner should be? Because I think sometimes we forget how crucial this step is. And if someone can just learn from this, that is, I think, a huge service rendered. So when you work with someone, how do you get them to question? What kind of questions do you ask? How do you guide them gently to really see themselves, I guess?
Oh, I love it. Well, first of all, I want to clarify, I don't consider myself a coach. I consider myself an educator, a teacher. And I say that specifically because you are accountable. You are responsible. I'm going to give you the tools and the mindset hacks and all that. You take the bull by the horns and go. Yeah, you do. So that's really important to me, right? Because it's accountability and responsibility. So going to the awareness that we were talking about, and then when I teach, I like the one-to-many because the engagement and it's just so creative. Everybody gets their juices going. So we start off and we do a breath work because we're frantic, right? We don't know what we don't know. So that means our nervous system is going, let's get you freaked out just a little bit.
It's hilarious, but it's so true. It's so true.
So true. So we do some breath work. We get really calm. And guys, you can do this. This is free. It's not like, you don't need a coupon. You don't need to go anywhere. You just breathe. That's all you do. It's free. Literally. And if the Navy SEALs can do it across the world, we can do it too. And it's just take 3 minutes, take 2 minutes and just deep breath, not the chest, like have the stomach bulging out. I would do this with kids and I'd have them lay down on their tummies on the floor and they would lift their tummies and kind of wobble. So make it for fun, right? And get that the juices going. So calming your nervous system down is really going to be really important. Because if you are in fight or flight, if you are nervous, if you are in the craziness, right, you're not going to communicate effectively. Your brain's not going to hear what you're trying to communicate and say, not only in here, then as you're speaking it out. There's just not clarity, right? It's just not. It really isn't. I'm not going to go into the total science of it. So we do the breath work, we get calm, and then we start talking and having conversations about how I want to show up. What is my representation, me as the business owner, the leader? And there are contrasts, again, like I alluded to earlier, because we know what we don't want, right? We know what we're really good at that.
Which is an asset. I always want to stress that because some people feel, oh, I'm always whining and complaining. It's like, no. It's actually a good thing that you know what you don't want. Like,
yeah. Well, let's put a pin in that, Christine, because the whining and complaining, we can change that language and say, I'm discerning, right? Because whining, complaining is kind of below the line frequency and energy. So you know what? I'm discerning what I do like and what I don't like. And that's okay. So let's discern away. And so we get out a piece of paper and we say what we like and what we don't like. And more times than not, we know our humanness. We know more of what we don't like, right? So we can write that down and then look at the polar opposite of what we do want. Do we want resentment or do we want compassion? Do we want communicative or do we want shut down? Really look at what that looks like. And I also go as far when I'm teaching like the PCC within the craziness to clarity. So there's 2 avenues to learn here. The personal code of conduct helps you set up your personal code of conduct, your culture. I had an entrepreneur, and you'll love this. Her name, and this is where I'm going with the example. So if I took, a few years ago, I took the word life sparkle. And I thought of adjectives that described me because I felt like a life sparkle. I am life's sparkle. Or I've had personal clients that are like, I'm Superwoman. And then we would go in there and that acronym of Superwoman would be their culture, would be their personal code of conduct. And the acronym would also come up in their nervous system and in their mindset on repeat saying, you're making a choice, Superwoman, Superman. Or like a couple of my clients, they literally took their company name and wrote out an acronym of what their personal code of conduct, what their culture was and is for their company. It was beautiful. I love it. So there's different avenues depending on the personality. There's different personalities. So if you want to have an acronym, Life Sparkles, Superman, Superwoman, whatever that looks like, great. If you want to use your company name, you could say Clarity with Sue and then use whatever that adjective is. And I love acronyms because they're so easy, right? They're really easy to bring up and you can change neural pathways. And this is really important too for us entrepreneurs. And this was important for me, for my journey as well. When you are in an habituation, if I can speak English, there is neural pathways that are firing. So when you are changing that habituation, you're literally changing a neural pathway in your brain. And it's important that I tell you this because you as an entrepreneur, my loves, you are going to be changing and evolving and changing and evolving. So tenacity, resilience, forgiveness, self-love, and clarity are going to be huge for you, right? And Christine, you're just like, oh yeah. Amen, sister.
Amen. Gone through all of them.
And still do, right?
Yeah. That's maybe also a caveat. It doesn't stop. You change all the time.
You signed up for it. Love. So yeah. And I was going to say something. I can't remember what it was, but that's all right. Having forgiveness too. And there's something I coined, and I use this a lot for my own mind hack and changing. And it's the CCs in life. Have compassionate curiosity for yourself, the other person, and the situation. Doesn't that just soften everything? Instead of getting reactive and angry, just go, you know what? Let's get curious about this situation. If the intention, and mind you, I know what I was going to say. You have to have a practice in place before all this. So that is what I'm exactly educating. It's the personal code of conduct, or the tools, the craziness to clarity. Similar to you brushing your teeth every morning. It's a practice, right? It is. It's there. You practice. I'm hoping that you guys brush your teeth every day. But you have that in place so you don't get, But listen to the metaphor. You've got the practice of brushing your teeth so you don't get cavities, right? You don't get infections, and that can be stuff here or in your body, right? So putting a practice in place, that's you getting clear on who you are. Breath, gratitude is huge. I did some research a few years ago when I was doing some public speaking, and there was a Gallup poll, and my numbers might be a little skewed because it's been a few years. Christine, if you're concerned about your bottom line and you're a leader in a company or an entrepreneur, check this out. It was like 75% of employees do not feel appreciated.
Yeah, that's so sad.
I think that should be a huge culture, number one, in anything that you're doing, and authentic appreciation, not just, hey, that was a great job today. You know what? You really showed up strong today. You communicated effectively. Thank you. Thank you very much. Huge difference.
Exactly. And we can foster that daily with everyone we meet. Like just this morning,
practice.
We're in kind of tax season. It's not as strict as in the States, but it should, well, maybe it is, but I always overdo it. But at the moment, I'm being haunted for my VAT, which is something that basically just exists in Europe. If you do business with a business or a client within Europe, you have to pay VAT and then you get it back and stuff like that. But because I have a lot of clients in the US, I don't, on those packages, I don't have to pay for it. Anyway, long story short, I got this kind of notice that I'm in credit, meaning I am owed a big amount of money from the government, but I need to justify quite a few bills and invoices, etc., etc. And I've been working on this with my accountant for 2 months now. It's crazy, especially because where I am, Luxembourg, we have Amazon, we have eBay, we'll be getting Google. Everyone gets huge tax cuts, but me with my tiny company here, we're being haunted and just ridiculous. But after 3 months now, 2 months now, and countless emails, we finally, I think, sent in the last justification. And I just sent an additional one to my accountant saying, listen, I just want to say thank you. I know I will pay for it. I will get a bill. It's their job. And yet still, if I had to do this on my own, I'd be so overwhelmed because you needed to add paragraphs of the law saying which article it refers to. I was like, I appreciate your job. I was just like, I really want to say thank you. So even though I'm their client, it changes you as a person just as much as it changes them.
So important, Christine, because it's the good feeling hormones.
Yes.
And there's all scientific studies about gratitude and appreciation. So superpower tip, breathe, get calm, right? And then have appreciation and gratitude, not only for yourself, because you are opening, God, there's all kinds of good hormones you're exuding. You are learning new pathways and new ways of communicating. They are receiving, and vice versa. So there's this exchange of energy you're dancing in. Who wouldn't want appreciation and gratitude versus the other stuff?
Exactly.
Right?
And it shows. It literally, the more you practice, your essence changes. You become more patient. You become combined with the clarity of who you are, what your values are, of your everything. People see who you are immediately, and that saves time, confusion. It will, and I always say that it's not your job to find clients. It's your job to shine your light for the right people to ping on you. That is happening so much faster if you do these things, and it will help you to attract people who are riding the same wave, or who aspire at least to do so. So I think it is so important, that piece of, we just throw it around here, clarity with Sue, but that word clarity, it is the key really to everything, to your happiness, to your business success. It's massive.
And the contrast, we talked about that at the top of the hour, that the contrast is numbing out.
Yes.
Denial.
Oh my God.
Avoidance. We've all been there. I'm not, this is not a shame comment at all. And I still catch myself going, avoiding, let's go do it. So if you find yourself, if there are tasks or things that you really don't want to do them first. Check them off.
Yeah.
And I learned something as an entrepreneur years ago that was so important. If you're going to fail fast.
Oh, do it. I love this.
Do it. So pull that off, do it. And that failure, don't make it go, that shame and that icky feeling, go, all right. Because you learned so much. You have that discernment, right? So have compassionate curiosity and move forward with that new gained wisdom. It's so powerful.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I agree. Give yourself a day where you wallow a little bit, and then, okay, that didn't work out. What else? Yeah. What's next?
Yeah. Check, learn. Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, and that's what I love about you. I have one sentence here as well from you that I'm stealing from your biography, and it says, win at life and let me teach you how to reclaim, redesign, and rediscover the authentic and genuine you. And I think that's a little bit what we're doing. It's first of all figuring out who you are, getting that clarity, and then from there redesigning whatever it is you do, whether it is your business, whether it is your private life, because I assume you work with all kinds of different people from all kinds of different walks of life, and rediscover the authentic and genuine you. And here's a question that I have for you. So I've been in business now since 2015, so around 7 years. And I have the feeling that a lot has changed since then. So when I started out, it was very masculine hustle vibe, a lot of persuasion, countdowns galore, 5,000 funnels, all of that kind of stuff. I have the feeling that maybe it was during the pandemic, I'm not sure, that I've become more aware of it, that this is changing drastically, that the feminine vibe is rising, that there is a much bigger space now to actual or much louder voices of people saying, no, let's reclaim, redesign rediscover. Am I the only one, or do you think it's something that's
I totally agree with you. Great observation, Christine, and question too. And the awareness within that and attracting more of that. There's becoming like a buoyancy and an equilibrium, male or female, doesn't matter what sex you are. It's just, it's an adjective to describe. That's all it is. Yeah, that's all. And I wanted to make that clear. There's an equilibrium kind of happening, right? Because we've been more dominant to one sense. So there's been things in culture, and then you put in media, and then you put in leadership. And there is now, there's kind of an equilibrium starting, or a teeter-totter kind of starting to happen. And it's good. It's really good. And with the vid and everything else that happened, I think that became an excellent opportunity for everybody. Well, some lost their shiitake, and I'm using my words careful. Because I have a live radio show. I have to be careful with FCC rules. So I use the word shiitake mushroom sometimes. So the COVID, and not only did you lose the shiitake, but you also decided that didn't work for me anymore. And you have had an evolution of change. And, I get the question of, well, who comes to you? And what if they have completely lost everything? And I'm like, that is perfect.
Yes,
because and to the audience, if you're listening and you're thinking that girl is crazy because she's excited because I have lost all of my shiitake, I'm telling you, there's so much opportunity now. You've got a clean slate. That stuff you discerned, you made a choice, doesn't work for you anymore. Guess what? You're moving on. You're getting a new culture. You're getting a new self. You're reclaiming, redesigning. You have your own personal permission slip. And Christine, this keeps noodling in my head. Just because it was done that way doesn't mean you have to do it the same way. You just don't. That is and repeat, because the authentic and genuine, those are huge anchor words for me. When I'm following my PCC or my clarity, who I am and how I'm showing up, is this authentic and genuine to me? It's like this, is it true to me? Yes. Is it my nervous system? Is it, and this is funny, that nervous system, and it's going to say, you will also say, well, the nervous system likes to remind us of the fear in the past, right? And so when you're in a transition, you're changing, you're going to think, well, that doesn't feel right. It's not supposed to feel right. You don't want the same thing. You want to keep transitioning and moving. And trust me, it's literally proven by science. There's a neural pathway firing in your head that's going to start realigning with the new experiences. And then you're going to have new experiences in your exterior world that's going to buffer that and say, oh, yes, go, keep going. And if it doesn't, learn from it and just keep going, keep building, keep doing it, right?
I agree. It was so fun. I never believe in coincidence, it's serendipity. Because I read a post of a friend today and she was like, have you noticed how your comfort zone gets really uncomfortable after a certain time?
Oh, you have to.
Exactly it. It's exactly it. I was like, oh my God, that's exactly it. I can't stay here. I have to move again. I have to wiggle. So so yes, twice the message in the same day. I mean,
yes. Craziness to clarity, sister. Yes. There will be chaos before clarity. There will be. And that's okay. Because you're mixing the bowl, you're mixing the soup, all the stuff. You're like, that doesn't work. Nope, what I like to use, Christine, is the analogy of the hat. You're trying on a hat. It could be a baseball cap. You're going to wear it this way. Some people wear it backwards. Some people have a flat brim. Some have a round, sideways. Try it on. It looks good. It feels good. It's a great analogy, right? And with that analogy, there's play. There's curiosity. There's not a resentment or a judgment or shame in that. Oh, that looks silly. No, I'm not going to do that. No, that looks really bad. We're going to put that over there. Have fun. Really get playful instead of that. and the poor
This
language.
now has to be, it's the last chance I'll ever have. It's like, no, that's not the reason why we're doing what we're doing. So,
No. And you don't want to get spun out in that either. That's important. You want to immediately move out of that space, whatever you have to do. I know for me, if I'm in a rabbit hole, or if I'm spinning out, things that I like to find for me, I literally go on YouTube, and you might like this too, Christine. I go on YouTube and I find specific videos with puppies and babies together laughing. Those babies with the just pure, you're loud, it totally includes that just
that is full of funny dance. Like, TikTok is my vortex of joy. I'm just subscribed to funny things, so my feed is just literally only funny things, and it's
good. That's what you should have, that
joy.
Yes. And that's a really good point. That's part of your culture, your PCC, right? I don't watch the news. It's nothing. It's not my focus. I don't watch any of that. Yeah. My focus is joy and love and education and transformation and moving ahead, dynamic, and
I agree.
It's an ebb and flow. Does it always have to move forward? No. And I think that's important too, because when you're in that kind of alignment, kind of integration, it's more like an integration. You're just kind of integrating how this new stuff is aligning with your mind, body, spirit, culture, right? And that's okay. It's totally okay. Like, I have to remind myself of that, because I'm like, I want to go.
Some people tell me patience is a virtue, and I just want to smash at their face with a hammer, because I'm like, God, that virtue is not mine.
Learning, universe. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. You're just sustaining the faith that it will work out how it's supposed to work out.
Exactly. Surrender. Wonderful. Well, I'm really happy that we've had this conversation, because I think if I had told someone, do you actually know how important it is to have clarity? It isn't. It's a word, I feel, that hasn't been umphed enough, not a real expression. But I hope that if you listen to this episode, it has clicked. And I'm really excited that you are someone who focuses on that, who has made it her life's mission to guide people through that process, who's developed a method for it that's been proven over and over again. And I honestly think, we're shining our light. And if you are right now, oh my God, I can't even start with my business, or I can't continue until I have this sorted. And I think the Sue person is exactly who I need. Then obviously we have all your links in the show notes. So head over to christinemeansbusiness.com/blog. But Sue, for those who are on a podcast platform right now, where can they get in touch with you and maybe even work with you, ideally?
Oh, thank you. And now that the world's opening up, my passion, very rarely do I do one-on-ones anymore, because it's the one-to-many that is my juice. Because and the world's opening up, whether it's Zoom or in person, and the world is opening up. So I'm booking in-person events now, and they could just go to claritywithsue.com. You can email me at sue@claritywithsue.com and just let me know what you're looking for. The craziness to clarity, I had many clients across the world like yourself. Well, you can't fly to me can you make something online for me? So that's what I did. It's super affordable, and that's the craziness clarity online. So if you want to do that, you can. Now, the personal code of conduct and creating your culture, that's something that I do in person.
Yeah.
And that could be a parenting group, that could be an entrepreneur group, that could be an executive team, and really defining what that looks like. And I've also worked with couples and dating platforms, because it's attracting the new ideal partnership. So if you're going to show up, so there's parenting, because that's really important. You're creating a culture within your family, whatever that looks like. You've got the entrepreneurship, and then you've got the singles ideal partnership. And those are the three that I teach and educate, and the events that I do. And I love it. I learn just as much from them. It's amazing. Amazing.
And I love the conversation because it started quite broad and now it's so crystal clear, like it's like we have all these ideas and then we ask the question and it's like it's just getting clear, 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 clear. And it's wonderful. It's been a wonderful episode. Sue, thank you for gifting us with your time. Time is the only thing we can never get back. So I really appreciate you being here and sharing all that wisdom with our listeners. I am absolutely certain we touched a lot of hearts today. So thank you so, so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Christine, for trusting me with your beautiful people and the environment, the tribe, the brothers and the sisters, and likewise, your energy, your time. You've got a vibrant smile. Keep shining, sweetheart, because we're in the ring together, right?
We
keep going. We are certainly in the ring together. And to all of you, each of you are a gift.
Yes.
So get out there and share yourself with the world.
Absolutely, I agree. Wonderful. So you guys, as you know, whether you are watching us on YouTube or whether you just want to know what we look like, head over to YouTube to Christine Hansen. My handle is Christine Means Business, so easy to find. You can listen to us on pretty much every major podcast platform. You can also read a summary of what we've talked about on the blog where you have everything, the video, the audio. So make sure you do that. If there is something that made you go, aha, or just giggle, head over and give us a review. That will help us to shine our lights even further, to share the message to everyone. I'd be super grateful. I'll talk to you. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time with a brand new guest on a brand new show. So wonderful to be with you all today. Thank you, Sue, again, and talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.